Soren was falling. Far below him, an entire city had frozen in time. A baker stood like a statue with bread hanging in the air. A dog was stuck mid-jump in the street. And the glowing blue orb in Soren's hand, the only thing that could save them all, was slipping from his fingers. If he lost it now, the city of Oakhaven would stay frozen forever. 3 minutes earlier. Deep inside the mountain of Oakhaven stood a gigantic clockwork machine called the Great Gear. Its steady ticking powered the entire city. Homes glowed with warm golden light. Machines hummed. People lived their lives by its rhythm. At the very heart of the machine sat a glowing blue core called the momentum spark. But that day, the gear didn't just stop. It screamed. Then everything went silent. Soren, a young mechanic, looked up at the pedestal where the spark should have been. It was empty. Then he saw it. High above the city, a mechanical falcon was flying away with the golden orb clutched in its metal claws. Someone had stolen the spark, and if it wasn't returned in 10 minutes, the mountain's clockwork would lock forever. The city would freeze in time. Already it was happening. Below him, Baker tossed bread into the air, and it stopped halfway. A dog leaped across the street and stayed suspended like a statue. Even the giant gears around Soren were slowing. He had to move fast. Soren began climbing the towering machinery of the great gear, jumping between giant pistons that slammed up and down like iron hammers. One wrong move and he would be crushed. Suddenly, a voice called out, "Hey, gearhead!" Soren looked up. A girl swung down from a copper pipe and landed beside him. It was Kira, the fastest runner in the lower wards. "The drones head for the exhaust hatch," she said, pointing upward. "If it escapes the mountain, the spark is gone forever." Soren quickly handed her a magnetic coil from his tool belt. "You block the hatch," he said. "I'll drive it toward you." Kira nodded and disappeared into a narrow tunnel. Soren climbed higher, crawling across the burning metal teeth of the great gear. Above him, the mechanical falcon screeched. It had noticed him. The drone suddenly dived. Its sharp metal claws sliced through the air. Soren barely rolled aside as the bird's beak slammed into the brass where his head had been seconds before. He jumped upward again. Higher, higher. Finally, he saw the exhaust hatch. Kira was there, waiting with the magnetic coil glowing blue with electricity. The drone circled between them, confused by the competing energies. "Now, Soren!" shouted. He leaped. His fingers brushed the glowing spark, but the drone jerked sideways. Soren missed and began to fall. The city rushed towards him far below. Frozen, silent, the glowing orb slipped from his hands. If it fell, everything would end. Suddenly, a hand grabbed his wrist. "Kira!" Her boots were braced against the hatch as she struggled to pull him back up. "Don't ruin the plan," she shouted. With her free hand, she activated the magnetic coil. Blue electricity crackled through the air. The mechanical falcon lost control. It spun wildly and slammed into the wall. The momentum spark flew free. Soren lunged and caught it. But below them, the city was almost completely still now. People stood frozen like statues. Even the giant gears had nearly stopped. Soren ran. He raced along the metal platforms toward the center of the great gear. The pedestal waited, silent, empty. With seconds left, Soren slammed the spark into its housing. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, thump, shh, tick. The great gear roared back to life. Golden light burst through the city. The baker caught his bread. The dog finished its jump. And the mountain clock began ticking once more. Later, Soren and Kira sat at the top of the spire, watching the sunset glow through the mountain vents. The city below hummed with life again, and for the first time, Soren truly understood something simple. Every second we are given is a gift.